Hello everyone, this is Adam from NoobFeed.com, and I'm going to give you my impressions of Microsoft's conference today, May 21st. Now, let's get the first question out of the way. What is the next Xbox going to be called? It's going to be called the Xbox One. A pretty, I don't know, it's just an odd name. And its job to take over the living room environment by offering every bit of entertainment that you could possibly need within the living room. No price was given or date of release, but we can expect it in the fall. And, well, the quick specs of the console: an x86 processor, Blu-ray drive, 500GB hard drive, which is non-replaceable and built-in, but you can use other devices alongside it if you want a portable storage option. I found that out on Engadget. There's also an 8GB RAM, 3 operating systems, built-in Wi-Fi, USB 3.0, HDMI input and output for television, of course, and a DVR for recording and editing. Now, we saw Sony do the same thing. They're making this huge leap into social functions and sharing, but the biggest highlight of the press conference was the Kinect. When they showed it, it was shown to use precise voice and movement recognition. It comes with a 1080p HD camera and can run Skype up to 30 frames per second. What really stood out was its ability to use a new function called Snap. Now, this function allows the user to run multiple applications while halting the function of any other open applications. So by using simple voice commands like watch movies, watch television, or halt it and you can look on the internet for new information of anything you're watching, was very cool and precise. But enough about the Kinect. The new Xbox One controller hasn't gone through any radical modifications. Microsoft explained that it does have an integrated battery, Wi-Fi Direct, impulse triggers that can provide extra feedback, and a cross-shaped D-pad. There is no home button, and the start and select buttons have been replaced with new buttons. I don't know exactly their functions, but it's exactly the same controller. EA was also at the press conference. They came out to showcase their special partnership with Microsoft and Xbox One. Most importantly, the EA Ignite engine, which will power each of the upcoming sport titles for the Xbox One that will attempt to copy human intelligence and true player motion. It's definitely something you want to check out if you're really into sports games. Also showcased at the press conference was the new Xbox Live. If you've seen my previous video, this was one of my biggest gripes, how I wanted Xbox Live to be refined completely, but even though they did not address any of my particular issues, they showcased that they're going to make Xbox Live much bigger with 300,000 servers, increase the friends list to 1,000, that was from a later story, and they're planning to refine the matchmaking system to make it more easily accessible while using the Snap interface, so you can multitask between matchmaking and other applications, such as, I guess you can use Skype or Netflix. Seems like a very complicated system if you're going to play a game like Halo and use another application. I guess I can expect a lot of AFK people. And I guess while I'm getting into games, Microsoft introduced 2 exclusive titles for Xbox One. The first one being Forza Motorsport 5, being developed by Turn 10 Studios, which will be a launch title for the Xbox One when it comes out in the fall. And a new game by Remedy Studios, the creators of Max Payne and Alan Wake, was confirmed also by Phil Spencer, who is the vice president of Microsoft Studios. He explained that the actions of this game will take... He explained, a quote by him: "The actions you take and the choices you make will shape your experience as the story unfolds." The trailer was one part live action and one part CGI. It showcased this girl who seems to have some sort of special powers and a ship crashing into a bridge, which I assume was fast forward, again with time travel. It looked very interesting, but without any information, it just seemed very complicated. I don't really know how to describe it. But to me, the big surprise came after the trailer ended, and Phil Spencer went on to explain that 15 exclusive titles will be coming out for the Xbox One within the first year. and 8 of them would be brand new franchises. Now, he didn't explain if these would be AAA titles or indie developed games supported by Microsoft, or probably Xbox Live arcade games, but it's nice to know that there will be a large amount of exclusive titles for the console for anyone who decides to purchase it. Unfortunately, no information about Halo 5 was shown, but a new TV series based on the Halo franchise was introduced as an exclusive television show on Xbox One. The show will be overseen by 343 Industries, and that Steven Spielberg will have a part in the development, but it was not explained what he would be doing exactly. Whether he would be writing it, producing it, maybe even direct it. It's just, he was there, so he must have a big part in the series. And the press conference closed with a world premiere trailer of Call of Duty Ghosts, well, 3 to be precise, to showcase the new engine, the new story, the dog companion, a new sprinting and sliding system, new animations, and dynamic multiplayer maps. Now, when you look at it, it is definitely impressive and much more graphically superior than any other Call of Duty game. And the dynamic maps, they look interesting. Basically what they mean is that the environment will change based on the actions of players and the environment itself. I saw a bunch of logs rolling down in one of the animator's screens, so I guess you shoot some rope up against some logs, it rolls down and kills some players, or it probably isolates one part of the map. As for the new sprinting system, it's new. It's basically, if you can keep yourself moving, you will be able to leap yourself over certain targets like walls, and you'll be able to slide into cover. The most accurate way I can describe it, it's like Medal of Honor meets Battlefield. You'll be able to leap like in Battlefield 3 and slide into cover like Medal of Honor. In terms of the graphical capabilities of the new engine, they highlighted different images by comparing them to Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3, by how they looked, how they moved, different enemy characters, especially the dog, which is going to be a huge component. When I say the dog companion, think Fable 2 or Fable 3. Basically, this dog will assist you in combat, sniff out explosives. They didn't give really much details about him, but it seems that he'll be very integral to the combat and story. Yeah, back to the graphics. They're using something called Sub D, which makes the textures round instead of blocky, so when you look something close or very close, it won't show a type of hexagon shape. Instead, it will be very smooth, and it won't be blocky. That's what their definite point was. As far as the story goes, basically, Mark Rubin, the executive producer at Infinity Ward, he explained that America has undergone this type of calamity, and the entire country has become, well, it's crumbled. And you play as Ghost, these special forces of the United States, and their job is to repel the invading force, seeing that the entire country has gone to ruin. It doesn't explain much, but it gives you the premise of what the game is going to be about. America has been conquered, your job is to repel the invading force. My only assumption is that this is not going to be a one-part game, it's probably going to be a 3-part game, so Call of Duty Ghost 2 after you beat Call of Duty Ghost 1. Now, the trailers were impressive. They gave me an understanding of Call of Duty Ghost. They weren't nothing spectacular, didn't show any gameplay per se, just a bunch of cutscenes. But it was interesting. At least they're trying something new, that's what I like about them. And maybe it might be different because honestly I wasn't really much of a fan of Call of Duty Black Ops 2. It played a lot like, well, the original Black Ops and Modern Warfare 3, so I'm definitely looking for the change. Hopefully Ghost will do it for me. But anyway, back to the conference. As a whole, it didn't aggravate me or satisfy anything that I was particularly looking for. Microsoft showed off its consoles, the features, and its titles. But I understand these are just mere appetizers before they bring out the main course at E3. Right now they just wanted to plant the idea in our head. Okay, this is the Xbox One, this is what you can expect from the system as a whole. And then when E3 comes along, they're going to go, oh, you remember those 15 titles we promised you? Well, here they are. I'm sure there's going to be a Halo and Gears of War in that list, but for now I'm giving Microsoft the benefit of the doubt. E3 is not arrived yet, and that's where all the competitors are going to give out every single detail they have to try and convince consumers to buy their system. After all, it's going to be the hardcore gamers who are going to reserve these systems, who are going to stand out at midnight in those long lines. And right now, I'm leaning towards Sony. Unless Microsoft does something huge, Halo isn't going to be enough. I know I'm playing ODST, one of my top games for the 360, but it's not going to be enough. For now, they've planted the idea of the Xbox One in my head. I know its basic core functions, as do you, and more information is being released every day, like non-backwards compatibility, the 360 controller now working on the Xbox, the new Xbox controller. It's going to be a very interesting fight at E3, and I'm looking forward to it.
It would have been suicide to go alone, and I was hoping for more backup. But I guess you're it. You've been solo since we dropped. Fighting on the surface? Unless you spent all night hiding in your pod, you must know your stuff. Show me.